Hi everyone, my name's Georgia. I am a film student at the University of Wales, Trinity St David, and as some of you may have seen, I'm making a documentary about sexual harassment in Swansea. Along the course of making this film, I'm going to be making a few videos about the topic in general to try and raise awareness and to try and educate and get these topics discussed and viewed in different ways. So the general definition for sexual harassment is unwanted behaviour of a sexual nature which violates your dignity, makes you feel intimidated, degraded or humiliated, or creates a hostile or offensive environment. So that's a general description. If we look at the legal definition of what sexual harassment is, it says, sexual harassment is a form of unlawful discrimination under the 2010 Equality Act. The law says it's sexual harassment if the behaviour is either meant to or has the effect of violating your dignity, creating an intimidating, hostile, degrading, humiliating or offensive environment. One thing that stands out to me very, very clearly in the legal definition of sexual harassment is the phrase, it's sexual harassment if the behaviour is either meant to or has the effect of. Now, in layman's terms, that means that if you act in a way that makes someone feel intimidated, undignified, degraded, creating a hostile environment, if you do any of these things, whether you meant to or not, if it's received that way, it is lawfully sexual harassment. I think that a big argument that perpetrators of harassment have is, oh, it was a joke, I didn't mean it like that. Well, you can now sit there and rest assured that legally that's irrelevant. Whether you intended that reaction or not, legally, in the eyes of the law, it is sexual harassment. So if you're going to say, I was just joking, come on, I'm just having a laugh, what's your problem? All of that, legally invalid, irrelevant. I honestly am shocked by the amount of people that consider sexual harassment as physical abuse. Generally, a lot of people have the attitude that saying things or making comments or, posting certain things online, it's not harassment, I didn't touch you. Again, legally, it's an invalid argument. It's harassment if it makes you feel intimidated, degraded, or humiliated. And I can honestly say every experience I've ever had has been, if not intimidating, because they're not all intimidating, but they are all humiliating. Sexual harassment towards women is a massive problem, and before anyone wants to say to me that men get sexually harassed as well, I know that, but it's not an epidemic, okay? It happens on a much, much smaller scale than the scale of women being sexually harassed. That's not an opinion, that's just a statistical fact. Yeah, every experience I've ever had has either been intimidating or humiliating, because at the end of the day, you're having these comments made to you because you're female. At the end of the day, sexual harassment against women from men and from our government and the policies and systemic sexism that is everywhere, it's discrimination. Sexual comments, sexual harassment against women, it's because we're women. It's because it's embedded in society that we're seen as sexual objects. And unfortunately, there's a lack of kind of a sense of seriousness in communities and societies in general. It's something that's laughed off and invalidated constantly, because the men that say and do these things say that it's not that serious. But at the end of the day, we're the ones having it done to us. We are the ones that get to say how serious it is. So, as part of my research for this documentary, I published a poll yesterday. I'm going to now take a look at some of the poll responses for the question of how would you define sexual harassment.